Welcome into Heartlander News. Hope you'll keep up to date with all the latest news every day and all week long at the brand new heartlandernews.com. My name's Chris Stigall. We start this morning with some breaking news as we record today. The president is speaking at the NATO summit and had this to say in an interview about the current situation with Iran and the ceasefire. Take a listen.
Is the ceasefire over? Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
That's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Woodcoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. We make a deal. And if I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
And at present, oil futures are reacting to that. We were starting to see gas prices coming back down to some relatively more familiar levels. Oil prices hovering near pre-conflict levels as of yesterday after OPEC Plus agreed to increase production again, adding to global crude supplies as exports through the strait continued to recover following months of disruption. The Oil Producing Alliance said it will raise output targets by 188,000 barrels per day, beginning in August, making its third consecutive monthly increase as it gradually unwinds production cuts implemented in 2023. So what does this mean with the president making those comments today? Oil prices had been trending down, production coming back, but now with this, what does that mean? We don't know for sure. Just wanted to start the show today by mentioning that. The U.S. military said it struck Iranian military targets in the area of the strait today in retaliation for renewed Iran attacks on commercial ships. The exchange of fire, writes Axios, risks plunging the United States and Iran into a new cycle of retaliation, threatening the fragile memorandum of understanding signed by the president. The Iranian military said it would deliver a crushing response to the U.S. strikes. The statement said Tehran would not allow U.S. interference in management of the strait. Meanwhile, President Trump is at that NATO summit and unloaded on Western European allies as disloyal partners who were not there for us during the Iran conflict, despite America's largesse in bolstering mutual defense. Trump taking shots at America's military partners at the start of the two-day summit in Turkey. And he'll pivot to commitments to defense spending and whether Ukraine and Russia can settle their 4-year war. So this is not, I wish I could tell you as we start today and this NATO summit, I wish I could tell you this is positive development. It doesn't sound very positive. Many people did not believe, actually, that this was ever really going to be positive. Many people were always of the belief that Iran couldn't be trusted. They were never good actors. Any memorandum of understanding was effectively meant to be broken, that President Trump counted on them ultimately breaking it, and that perhaps as many, by the way, many hawkish people would say they wanted the job finished. They wanted Iran pulverized. Is that what comes of this? I don't know. Regime change was never something the president stressed he wanted to do. And many critics have always said that regime change wars have gotten us nothing but meat grinders of our men and women who serve, as well as billions and billions and billions of dollars wasted. And so the country often says, when polled, they don't have an appetite for what are now commonly called regime change wars. But after President Trump had that memorandum of understanding, as you recall a few weeks ago, the criticism was, I wish he'd just take out their leadership and finish the job. As long as the theocracy stays in charge of Iran, they're always going to be bad actors. They can never be trusted, and we'll be right back here again. Given these developments, is that argument correct? I don't know. Time will tell. It remains to be seen. It's It's not a positive development for those of us who are watching gas prices. I'm well aware of that. So we will continue to monitor it here, and I encourage you to stay at heartlandernews.com all day for all the very latest. Journalists there working all day and all week long, bringing you up to date on all the latest stuff. And by the way, written through a prism of journalism that you can actually trust. That's the whole point of heartlandernews.com, so I hope you'll check it out. Meanwhile, the 4th of July, we took a couple of days away to celebrate Independence Day. I hope you had a great one, 250 years of our great country. Hope it was something you enjoyed with friends, family. Maybe you got some time to reflect on what that means. I know I did. It was a remarkable thing, 250 years, this country. It's not that old. I went to see Young Washington. I highly recommend that film. The Angel Studios people made that. Kelsey Grammer is in it. It's a story about who Washington was as a young man before he became the general and president that the nation all came to know him as. It was a fascinating thing, talking about how he just kind of a hard scrabble upbringing and just through sheer dogged determination became an officer in the British forces before ultimately, of course, fighting on behalf of Virginia and the country at large in the Revolution. But a lot of patriotism is the point. I hope you felt it as much as I did. Not everybody felt patriotism on the American left, though. Chuck Todd, very, very angry about it. We start there this morning. Chuck Todd in 361 here, Aaron. Oh, man, is he angry? He's just furious about all of it. And most of the left furious about all of it. You probably saw the social media posts. They were mad about even flags flying. Here's Chuck Todd.
There's the America 250 celebration that he completely co-opted and made it a Trump-branded spectacle, literally driving people away. Fewer people came to Washington, not the white supremacists. They felt welcome. But fewer regular Americans decided to come because he just made it less. He basically made it that if you showed up to an event in Washington, you were endorsing him. He tried to make the America 250 an endorsement of him. And you know what? Plenty of people are like, I'm endorsing America, the idea. I'm not celebrating your fat ass. I know, I got a little bit. It's just so insulting what he's done to us. It's so insulting. He gets to insult us with small, stupid playground. And then the rest of us, if you fight back, you look like the smaller one, right?
You know, I can't help but first just notice, Aaron, is that a FanDuel logo over his shoulder? I've never seen a moment of Chuck Todd since he left Meet the Press, so I don't know what he's doing anymore. It looks as though he's in his office or his room or basement or something. Is that I think that's a FanDuel logo. Yeah. So is he sponsored by a sports betting app?
Probably.
That's my, how Meet the Press has fallen. Sponsored by FanDuel. So he's sitting in his basement, sponsored by a sports betting app. Good for Chuck. All right, a little more. Just seething over there. He's so angry about America 250. He's angry at who the president is, folks. As we've long established, the American left is upset that their guy isn't president of the United States. Not that their guy was actually president of the United States. We all know that infirm husk was running nothing. And we all know that pretend vice president, had she been successful, heaven help us, wouldn't have been running anything either. But boy, he's mad. And he continues to let us know from his FanDuel cave on a second day.
I'm so angry and feel betrayed. I do. I feel betrayed as an American by him on this. Constitution is not perfect, but it gives us a way to keep going. It gives us structure for disagreement. It gives us a method for repair. It gives us the possibility of becoming better without pretending we were always good. It makes some of the same promises that some religious texts do for people. And this is why I'm so pissed off. Not because I love the country less, but because I love the idea of America enough to resent seeing it cheapened by this man. America deserved better at 250. Someday, I believe, it will get better.
In all sincerity, what's going on there with the shaking? Aaron, I'm sorry, I just want to lean on your technical expertise. Is he suffering from tremors? Is it a Parkinson's thing? Is he bouncing his leg? Is he doing a tubing thing under the desk? Why is he bouncing, Aaron? Did you notice that?
I mean, yeah, he's bouncing. It can't be like a webcam shake or anything because the room is not moving. Just he is.
I've never seen a guy. He's literally bouncing like a popcorn popper while he's speaking. And by the way, reading, I don't know. Apparently he left his teleprompter at Meet the Press. He's also reading whatever, that very organic, seething monologue of his coming directly from something he wrote that he's apparently referencing below his camera because he has to keep reading it. Nothing speaks to how organically angry you are when your eyes are darting back down to your text as you read it. It's so phony. Everything about it is so phony. Sonny Houston, Houston. The hens over at The View, they want you to know they're very mad too. In fact, they're so angry, they can barely even see an American flag and feel safe anymore. Kid you not, you probably heard a few people say some version of this over the last few days.
And I said this on this show many, many years ago, because this is my 10th year on the show. And I said there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American flag with white supremacy. And that should never be the symbol of white supremacy, but they have weaponized.
Because the flag belongs to all of us.
It does belong to all of us. But those men were wearing a flag on their and I said this on.
Yeah, what can you do for that? I don't know. That's not even really worth the. Sometimes when people say, "I wish we just have more reasonable debate. I wish we could get along. I hear this from time to time still. People say, I just wish we could turn down the rhetoric. I wish the two sides could come together." Folks, when you are dealing with someone who sees the American flag as a symbol of white supremacy, what can you say to that person? What possible debate can be had? What possible logic can be shared? What shared point of interest have you as a jumping off point in a conversation with someone like that? For me, there isn't one. So you have to roll your eyes and dismiss it and hope that kind of thinking doesn't become prevalent.